Welcome to the inaugural The Dan Regal video. I am joined for this first video by my pal, my buddy, Eric Switzer.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Good.
So
Good. Exciting times.
Right? All kinds of announcements, all kinds of things revealed from Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger today in the next chapter stream that they just finished. And we're going to go over everything and talk about all of the things and what we think about them. So
many things.
So many things. Let's get it out of the way first. The one that probably is, I would say, the biggest bummer of the day, and that might be taking it lightly for some people. I know that this is something that has already been revealed before the stream. They did a little emergency stream last week, and they announced World Championship is going to be June 28th and 29th at Walt Disney World. We already knew that was going to be where it was. We now know when it is. But what changed? What changed, Eric?
What changed is you're all uninvited.
That's rude. But
it is rude.
So that's bad. That's not a good. So what happened is we don't know, but essentially it is an invite only event for the 28 players, as well as their plus ones and the casters, who will be there,
judges
doing the casting live on Twitch, the Disney Lorcana Twitch stream on those days. And so, what do you? I mean, it's not good because they announced at D23 last year that this would be a big, fun attendee event with a really cool challenge in the center of it, like a really tasty jammy Dodger or something. we were the cookie, and the challenge was the fruit filling. But we're not getting that. We're just getting the fruit filling.
Just the fruit filling, and nobody wants just fruit filling,
right? So
this is a tragedy.
Yeah.
On multiple levels, right? I think overpromising is bad. It's really disappointing when everyone has an expectation that was given to us by Ravensburger, and that's not coming together. On another level, I think the messaging is disappointing. I think it did not feel like an apology. It did not feel like an acknowledgement of what people have sacrificed and how disappointed people are going to be, because people did hold off on vacations. People did try to plan around this thing that didn't have a date for so long. And I think, I understand plans change. I understand if it just couldn't happen, but I don't think it was addressed appropriately for how kind of devastating this is. I don't think it was handled with the level of respect it needed to be. That's kind of my big thing right now.
Right. Which is unfortunate because, as you say, a lot of people were looking forward to this. And the problem is how much can they say, right? And how much can they apologize for what happened? I mean, they can, but...
Well, an apology would be good.
But in the corporate world, I mean, is that something that's going to happen, right?
Look, I know we're not going to get all the answers. I think that this framing of we want to focus on making it a VIP event for the players, it's not very convincing. And I understand if they can't really say, but I just this should be a hat in hand coming to the community. We overpromised and we're going to learn from this and make it up to you. And it wasn't that at all. It was treated as though they never said, oh, quest, and it's going to be this big fan experience and it's going to be the main focus. It's as if that never happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which hopefully it comes out in some way that they do acknowledge that. It's unfortunately it won't be on the platform of the big stream, but moving forward, we are going to get more details about those upcoming plans again. Hopefully, ones that will come through. Which I think at this point, I think most of the things we're going to hear are going to happen because now they have a bigger team. They have a lot more people on hand to handle things, which is what they did not have, and why I think one of the reasons why we don't have a big event at Walt Disney World is they just didn't have the manpower to handle it. So it may not be the only reason.
Like I said, whatever it is, like, fair enough, it happens, and it's not gonna take away from like the achievement of these players and like the winner. But in my mind, like, producing a VIP experience for these players means them having their teams there to rely on, them having a big audience to cheer for them, like them being able to raise that trophy like they did at NACC, like they did at the European Championship. Like, that to me seems like honoring the players as much as if you want to give them a VIP experience,
Right.
Yeah. And it's disappointing because it's Disney World, right? It's not, and it doesn't stop anyone from going to Disney World, but like that's a great thing to plan a family vacation around, and to have been a part of Challenge from the beginning and like watch these players over their journey and play it ourselves. Like, it was supposed to culminate at Worlds, and now it's not. And I guess if I had known that, I would have treated NACC differently. Maybe like I would have felt differently about the national finals if I had known that was really the end.
Right. And not the end overall, because we're going to get another season, but the end of this season and the end of this challenge of series. One thing I would like to actually acknowledge that they did right is that once the news did get out there, out of their control, they did make an announcement within hours letting everyone know that there would be no attendees allowed, and to keep anyone from booking trips or being able to cancel trips they had booked once the dates had gotten out there, because we didn't know the dates until today and officially, but last week we did find out about them. And so I guess
Yes, sir. That is definitely a credit where credit's due situation. I mean, that's the type of communication that has been missing, and it's definitely unfortunate that the first time the community is meeting Greg Tito had to be that, because during the presentation today, like, what that was his and other people's like, hey, I'm part of the team, you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. But instead, like, he had to come give the worst news ever. And I respect him a lot for doing that, because it needed to happen. Otherwise, these leaked dates, people would start buying plane tickets, start planning to be there. So it needed to happen. And I think the way they did it was great. It wasn't a tweet. It wasn't like a message in the Discord that had to get shared around. Like, he like stood up, put his face out there and said, this is what it is. And I think that is definitely good. Still wasn't an apology. What did not feel like an apology at all.
Right.
But yeah.
But getting the news out there as it was needed.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Almost important. Mandatory. Once you saw that, you're like, this needed to happen.
Yes.
Okay. So that's all the bad news out of the way.
Yeah.
It's full throttle now.
I think so.
Right?
I think that's all the bad news, but
it depends on how you look about some of it when we get to that. Yeah. But so let's go with the first thing we're going to talk about is, again, what I think is going to be an upcoming, essentially a gift set. And it's going to be what they're calling the collection starter set. And that's going to include a 4-pocket card portfolio, a giant Tink promo card in the style of the Lilo and Mickey that we've already gotten in other gift sets. The 4-packs of the Fabled series, a collector's guide, and it comes out basically when Fabled comes out in the fall. What do you think of this little package here?
It's super cute. I love that it's Golden Mickey art, first of all, on the little portfolio. Obviously, I love Big Tink. That's not a super hard card to come by, but it has been meta forever. Mm-hmm. So that's a cool card to hand new players. And 4 Fabled packs, as we'll get into, is the perfect starter booster packs, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a nice little product. I think these 4-card portfolios are pretty useless. I like them as like a collector. It's nice to display smaller ones and just have all that stuff. But I think like if you are actually gonna start your Lorcana collection, don't even bother with these 4-card binders. Like go ahead and just get a regular binder to start.
Yeah.
You're gonna outgrow that thing in
9 cards.
You're gonna
page.
open those 4 packs.
Yeah,
And
12 cards a page, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a really neat little bundle, and I think it is a very thoughtful, like this is our new jumping on point, right. And here's how you jump on. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, well, let's just get right into it since we already know that there's 4 packs of Fabled coming. Let's skip right to Fabled the series. The next set coming out after Reign of Jafar, which we're going to talk about Reign of Jafar, of course, as well, because they talked all about that. But Fabled, we want to know details on. So the first detail we're getting is the pre-release is August 29th, with the main release being September 5th. And here's the big deal. We're bringing back cards from the first 4 sets.
Right.
We're getting reprints in over half the set. What number that is, we don't know, but it's going to be half is 102, which means we're getting at least 103. Right?
Yes.
And it is going to include cards like Stitch Rockstar, Honey Wizard, the aforementioned Giant Tink that we're getting a promo of. Of course, that's going to be included. We are getting all new enchanteds of cards that we didn't get enchanteds of in those previous sets, like the amazing Honey Wizard Enchanted.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It's very, very good. Our first common enchanted, I think, a vanilla enchanted.
A vanilla. But when the art, when it's the character and the art is that good, you kind of have to.
That's a collector card. That rules. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it ever makes it into a deck now, since it's an enchanted?
No. I do love that. Here's what I like about it. We're seeing old cards in new ways, and that's not something I ever thought was going to happen, right? Now, the actual cards, like the reprints themselves, are identical. They are exactly as they were in set 1, 2, 3, or 4. They just have a 8 on the bottom instead of
a 9,
a 1, 2, 3, or
9.
4.
Set 9.
A 9, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they have a set 9 on the bottom instead of whatever set they were originally from. So you can still play those cards.
Yes.
Instead of these new ones, which is great. I don't love that I have all those cards already and I'm going to be buying booster boxes full of cards I already have. That's the part I don't love. And that's one of those things where it's like steered for the new player, not for me, right?
But it is,
because for a new player, they can't get set 1 stuff off the shelf anymore.
Yeah, not for cheap, no.
Right.
But technically, this is geared very much for Eric, because we are getting a new franchise in Fabled, and that franchise is a Goofy movie. And look at this. This is amazing, right? This art.
I absolutely lost it. Yeah. I absolutely lost it. Like I wrote something about this today. If as bummed as I was about Worlds, or like as maybe controversial as some other decisions are, whatever, however you feel, like those moments when you get like your character or your movie, it's just such a good reminder of how special this game is and why we love this game so much. Like that movie means so much to me. These characters mean so much to me. I was just at the 30th anniversary screening at Disney's El Capitan like 2 weeks ago.
Right. Yeah.
There's a picture of me with the director Kevin Lima wearing the same shirt.
and he drew a little what was it, a Max?
He drew Max
on your badge for the event.
Yeah, he drew Max for me. Yeah. So like this movie's so special to me, and like seeing it in Lorcana is the most exciting thing ever. It's what I loved the first time I saw Brave Little Taylor too. Right? Like it's pure love for the game, pure love for Disney. Still the best game around.
Yeah. And of course,
good reminder.
Knowing that this is coming and having to answer questions for the last year, probably knowing it was
for me,
Lucky Clemming, and being able, and for them going like, we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
every
Oh, man.
interview.
Every interview I did, if you go to any of my on-camera interviews with Ryan, I always ended it asking about Powerline, and I always had a different Powerline shirt on. And sometimes it would be a secret. I'd have like a jacket on, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, and what about Powerline?" and lift up my jacket to show a different Powerline shirt. So I was one of you. I was one of those people asking about it all the time. I asked about it in every interview.
Yeah, which is, I'm just so happy.
Very
so
exciting.
Happy. I can't wait to see what cards are in there, what songs.
Yeah, I mean, this art that they showed, it must be a song, right? It is eye to eye.
Yeah,
like it's the pose. Yeah, so
and
that's very cool.
I will be disappointed if we don't get the perfect cast.
Yes,
because I've been asking for that from the very beginning as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we need Roxanne. We need all of it. All of it. There's so much to mine from Goofy Movie.
They could just fill the entire rest of the set besides the reprints with just Goofy Movie stuff, right?
Easily. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Yeah. The other reason why you're going to want to get Fabled is because they are introducing not one, but 2 new levels of rarities for chase cards. Oh boy, here we go. So these are going to be some chase cards you're going to be looking for, because the first level is Epic. And we're going to be getting 18 Epic cards, just like we have 18 Enchanteds in each set. These will be easier to find than Enchanteds. In other words, the pull rate's going to be lower or higher, however you phrase that, right? You're going to find them more often, but not as often as a legendary, which means right now we're getting about 4 legendaries a box on average. And we're getting 1 Enchanted every 4 boxes on average. So it's going to be somewhere in between there. 1 a box, 1 every 2 boxes, something like that.
Right.
I'm hoping for 1 a box minimum.
1 a box minimum, I think sounds fair. Of course, I'd love 2 per box.
Right. I would love 2 as
well.
But
this seemed like I've never imagined completing an Enchanted set. I know that you're aiming for at least set 1, and I would love to do that too. That's a pretty expensive venture.
Yeah.
What I like about this, there's a lot of things I like about it, but it's great that this feels like an obtainable set. Like I could get all 18 epics from every set.
Right, because you can trade for them if you happen to hit an Enchanted that you don't want. It's probably going to be easily tradable for 1 or 2 of these at least, just because the rate, these may be $5, $10, $20 cards for them, maybe. But because the value is going to basically
how playable they are, right?
Right, exactly. Playable and princesses. Are they princesses?
Yeah.
Or are they honey wizards?
And here's another example. Yeah, true. But here's another example, like the Honey Wizard Enchanted, of seeing old cards in new ways.
Right.
Which gives me hope that all my favorites will come back. We're getting a promo Big Tink. That's amazing. Like, could we be getting a new Rockstar, a new version of Rockstar or something? Like, I love the idea that just because a card was from an old set doesn't mean they're done with it. It could come back in a new, cool way.
And so these epics are going to be similar to early Enchanteds in their look, at least in the card layout, as you can see on the Elsa Snow Queen that we have here. It's going to have their alternate versions of existing cards. They are the existing art, but with an open air frame, special rainbow foil treatment, holofoil treatment on the icons, and gloss treatment on the art. And that means basically they're going to look like legendaries. The character probably will have the spot gloss that makes them look glossy when you kind of hold them up to the light just right.
Yeah,
that's a lot on
look glossy. Yeah, and they'll have that rainbow foil treatment, so they'll look like Enchanteds, but they're clearly different, because it's the original card art,
and it's not completely different art. It's just expanded art of the regular card.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's in between Legendary and Enchanted.
Mm-hmm.
They nailed the visual language of it really well.
But the other reason we're chasing, remember, we said 2 new rarities. We have Iconic. These are more rare than Enchanted. They are alt art. There's only 2 of them. that tells me
Right.
this is going to be really hard to find.
There's only 2 in the set, and if one of them's Mickey, the other one must be Minnie.
Yes.
Like the 2 carousel
It's
cards.
Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, this one is the biggest mystery right now because we got to see it. You know, it's only going to make sense once we've actually seen it with the colors and the full. And because what does this mean to you? Go ahead and break it down.
It's alternate versions of existing cards, full alternate artwork, custom lore star foil pattern, and 3D hot stamp effects.
Yeah. So who knows what any of that means? Like, but once we see it, I'm sure it's going to mean.
It means like if you've opened any Pokemon cards and they have a Pokeball as the foil pattern, or the Scrooge in the previous set that had dollar bills as the foil pattern, it's lore symbols instead as the foil pattern.
It's that part lore stars.
Lore star, right. Yeah. So, but 3D hot stamp effects, I'm not a card person. I don't know what that means. It's just sounds.
I don't either.
It sounds like it makes the card look much cooler, though.
Like some kind of lenticular effect, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, sounds really cool.
But the card looks amazing. We don't know what it's going to do because the ability is not visible to us. But it just looks really cool. I think it looks amazing. But these being rarer than enchanteds, only 2 of. I mean, prediction on rarity, I'm thinking 1 every at best, it's going to be 1 every 5 cases.
1 every 5 cases.
Yes.
1 every 5 cases. How many cases come together?
Like, 4 boxes per case. So that's 1 every 20 boxes.
Yeah, but how many cases ship together?
I think the cases are all just in the 4 boxes. I don't know if they're bulked together or not.
Okay. Yeah. If there's only 2 in the set, they should be ultra super rare. Maybe I'll never even see. I mean, I'll see one at a vendor. Right. That's the first time I'll see one.
Basically, never plan on getting one, and if you do, scream a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
1 of per set. I can't even think of like even Pokemon's like gold cards. There's like 4 per set. You know,
right. And I've heard of other games doing this. Like I think maybe One Piece and Digimon I've heard have like 1 every 10 cases kind of cards.
Okay.
So this is definitely a thing that happens when they're super rare, and those games I think have like 1 or 2 also just of the really super rare card. So they're going for it.
Yeah, it's great. I to be honest, I was hoping for something like maybe in between super rare and legendary, like something to make packs more consistently fun to open instead of 2 hyper rare cards, like rare than legendary and then rare than enchanted. Like I feel like the pack opening experience isn't going to change very much from this.
Not too much, because you're only going to get, like we said, at best, maybe 2 new cards in a box that are different.
Yeah, my dream was like reverse holo kind of thing, where you can get like, or like full arts of every card, of like just their standard art, not alternate, not like enchanted art, but just like any card could be a full art. Something to make more packs more exciting, and I don't think this does that. But more rare cards is cool. Yeah,
I think so. And the thing I was hoping for is I actually do like the way that Star Wars Unlimited does their different cards, where there's a full art version of every card that can just randomly appear in that slot instead of the regular card. And there's also foil versions of every card, and then also full art versions of every foil card. That's a possible, including their extra chase cards, their hyperspaces. So if there was something like that added, where there's full arts of every card available at some lower rate where you can pull them randomly, I think that would also enhance the pack opening, because randomly a common, oh look, a full art common, great. Now I can, if that's a good card, I can put that in my deck, and I can try and find a play set of those.
For sure.
Okay, what's next? Okay, let's talk about the set champ card for
Yeah.
And this one is our first new, maybe even first fully playable card.
Wait till we get to Jafar. Yeah, I mean, you don't see Maleficent Monstrous Dragon. We haven't seen her in a while. Couple sets, probably. We haven't
in
seen
red
her
blue
around.
decks mainly.
Yep, yeah, in ramp decks, but it's such a classic. Like this card was played in original Ruby Amethyst,
Yeah.
right? Like this is an important card to Lorcana history. So I think it is a cool set champ card. It also is a good representation of Fabled because it's a set one card. I've been critical about set champ cards that don't feel like they belong to that set. Specific, in particular, Azurite Sea being a Scar card never made sense to me.
Right.
It should have been, a pirate or a robot. This feels like you'll always recognize it as a Fabled card.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
And even just the fairy tale kind of story fits because it's a dragon. Not just it's a first chapter card, but it's a dragon. It fits the Fabled storyline. So and the card's beautiful. The new art by Christian
new
Romero.
Art on an old card's always cool. Yeah.
So that's our
it's a good choice
for Fabled.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about why are we getting all of these reprints in Fabled? Why is over half the set in reprints? And that's because we are getting set rotation in Disney Lorcana. And what does set rotation means? It means some sets are rotating out of being playable in core constructed, whatever that may be, whatever we're calling that, which is core constructed, and standard. And current sets will become whatever is now not rotated out. In this case, the first 4 sets, chapter 1, sets 2, 3, 4, all of them are going away. And so sets 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will be the only legal cards. Now, where there's a bit of a difference here is anything that's reprinted in Fabled, the old version is also still legal from those sets. So you can play your old cards as long as the card is available in Fabled.
So we know at the very least, Big Tink, Honey Wizard, Stitch Rockstar, and Elsa and Maleficent are all safe.
Yes.
Still legal.
For
at least 2 more years.
Correct. So what this means is that they're going to be doing this every year. In the fall, every 4 sets, the earliest 4 sets from that year will get rotated out so that always no more than 2 cards, sets. 2 years worth of cards are legal.
Yes. And when the rotation happens, far less than 2 years.
Right. 5 sets.
I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. Like the sets closer to rotation are in the game longer than the sets at the end of rotation. Meaning that so Jafar is going to rotate out next year. We'll have only had it in standard for a year and 3 months.
Right.
Whereas Fabled will be in the game for a full 2 years. So it's kind of interesting. Like that's going to have an impact on the value of these sets, the value of singles, maybe even the power level of cards. And like, who knows if they'll be designing around the idea that some cards are playable longer than other cards. Yeah. That's kind of a consequence of rotation that you have to consider when you're shopping for singles. Do you want now that rotation is happening, are you going to pick up a Diablo for set champs? Probably not, right? Because until we've seen what's getting reprinted in Fabled, you might be investing in a card that you won't be able to play in standard 3 months from now.
Right.
So that's going to change a lot about how we engage with this game as a commodity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so for those, this is the other hot button topic that may rub people the wrong way, because there are people who place value on these cards in, obviously, that they're worth money, but place value on them as to what they're worth. And if that value changes because of something the company does, then the company is the one to blame, and they don't agree with what has happened. So rotation is something that a lot of people don't like. They want their cards to be available to them always to be able to play. And so one of the ways that Ravensburger is rectifying that is the same thing that other games have done, and that is creating an eternal format or a long-lasting format, or you can play all your cards format, which Disney Lorcana is calling Infinity Constructed. And this will have no rotations, all cards available except for a separate ban list that is maintained just for Infinity. Yeah. So all cards from Chapter 1 and on for the life of the game will be available to play in Infinity unless it's banned just for Infinity.
Right. And Infinity will be supported as like a side event at DLCs.
Right.
So there will be still opportunities to play all of your cards.
And not just like
but standard.
Yeah, not just like a sealed, like, you win a pack kind of side events. There's going to be Infinity constructed tournaments like they held at the side events where it was 500 people competing or 300 people, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
They will be serious constructed Infinity events, not just small 8-person pods.
Right. So don't give away your first chapter cards unless you're going to give them to me. Yeah, and it's not just the monetary value of the cards. It's the emotional value too. If you have been on Steel Song since chapter 1 and you've been updating it and tinkering with it for 2 years, and sorry, like Ariel Sensational Singer isn't in the game anymore, God forbid, like that's gonna hurt. If like it's normal to have attachment to archetypes and to certain cards. And it's totally reasonable and understandable to be upset that your favorite card or your favorite deck can't be played at your locals anymore. You're not allowed to. I get that, but in this case, the pros outweigh the cons, and we know that untested because other games have proven it. Right? Like this is the standard. This is how almost every other game does it, and the ones that don't, Yu-Gi-Oh, you can see what the impact of that is, right? We don't want to be 4 or 5 years from now and all of our cards have 45 strength and 90 willpower. I don't think anybody wants that.
No. It might be fun to see.
That's just a simple example of it. Yeah. Yeah. That's a simple example, but Lorcana would become a different game if there was never a rotation. Right. It would, because there's new cards every 3 months. Those cards have to, in some way, be better than the cards we already have. And quite often that means that they're stronger than the cards we already have. And you can do that here or there, but if you do that every set, then things get out of control. Then it becomes a different game. And so rotation is a way to combat that power creep and to keep the design under control and to give them the leeway to experiment with things, because it's, it doesn't have to be a ban. It doesn't have to be, a Hiram situation. Cause like sometimes things just rotate out. Like nobody has to ban Diablo because in 3 months it's probably not in the game anymore. I'm purely speculating,
right?
But you know what I mean? Like, and on top of that, it really is so helpful to new players.
Right.
The rotation. Nobody wants to start a game and find out that they have to find cards that have been out of print for 8 years. That's ridiculous. Like the fact that the ideally every card you need to play, you can pick up off the shelf. You can get in a booster pack at your local game store today. And that's already not the case with First Chapter and Floodborn and maybe Inklings. There's a lot of Inklings around. But yeah, First Chapter, Floodborn, Ursula's, you can't buy that stuff anymore. You have to go buy it from a guy who gets to decide how much it costs and can buy all of them on TCG Player and set the price to whatever he wants. Like that's not a healthy way for new players to get into the game. So yeah, so it's about balance. It's about variety, and it's about new players. And ultimately those things are so important that you have to sort of take the bad with the good here.
Indeed. I agree with all of that. Okay. So we're now moving on to what's happening in the future. which is the future is this week, and that is the Ravensburger Play Hub, which has been announced previously and is finally going live for stores and players. And you can sign up, and there's you can build your decks in there. You can get your events search going. You can do all kinds of things in the hub going forward. It is now the place that you will be instead of Melee. And hopefully...
I'm psyched.
What's that?
I'm psyched.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes.
I have so much beef with Melee. I'm so over Melee. I think there's a lot of quality of life things that players are gonna appreciate a lot. Being able to submit deck lists in the app is huge.
Yeah.
Not having to show up and fill out paper deck lists or whatever you have to do. Take a picture with your Dreamborn link, whatever it is. Like that's great. And I'm also excited to see this expand to things like Villainous, to see like other games get the support too, because that might encourage more people to play those games.
Right.
So I think that's cool. I like this platform a lot.
And Ravensburger has control over it for what goes into it and how it's run, so they can do the things that they need to do if we're going to be using this going forward for major events, regional events, set champs, all of those things. They now can make sure that things are happening in the manner that they choose.
It also keeps things fair for stores, for LGS, because like how many entire OP kits have we seen on eBay? Like that's not how that's supposed to work, man. And this is going to make sure that those stores that are actually running events, that actually have players signed up, are getting rewarded for that. Like my store, our store does not have enough OP kits for how many players we have.
Yeah.
They have to split the pins up every other week to so that the stores that have lots of players will get recognized for that and get more support. And the stores that just get an OP kit and flip it on eBay the next day, hopefully will get weeded out.
Hopefully. And so we move on to reveals.
Let's do it.
And that's of course the Reign of Jafar, set 8, coming very soon, actually. It's unbelievably close. It's coming at the end of May for pre-release, and June 6th, is it? For wide release?
I think so. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's getting here really quickly. Now, the first thing let's talk about is the Palace Heist, which is the new Illumineer's Quest, similar to the Deep Trouble game that was in set 4 with Ursula's Return. Only there's a little bit of a difference. We're getting a game board box this time, so it's an actual like board game setup instead of a gift set setup. We're getting a cardboard playing board for the mat, not just a piece of paper, which I think is excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
And the play is a little different because instead of fighting Jafar directly, like we did in Ursula's, where we fought Ursula directly, we are actually going to be trying to sneak into the palace to steal the Hexwell crown back from Jafar so that we can take away his power.
I love that this is more like a board game.
Right.
It's easier to store. It's more replayable. Really great upgrades here.
Yeah. And the way it looks is really nice. We saw a preview of, I think, what's going to be in here, which I don't think it has been confirmed, but the Iago D23 card has started shipping recently,
right?
And people are showing those off, and the foiling and the little sand effects are amazing. And I think that the thought is that those sand effects are on the Jafar deck, the Jafar villain deck in this box set, like the ink effects were on some cards in the Ursula set. So we'll see if that happens or not, but the sand effects are really cool looking.
It's interesting that illusion is card types, because I'm just thinking about Ursula with her. I forgot what their category was, but like the possessed characters,
Entangled.
So like, yes, yeah. But in this case, like Jafar's thralls or whatever would be illusions, and yet we control illusions. It's just kind of interesting,
right? Well, Jafar does. We're going to be hypnotized by Jafar when we're playing.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll see. But let's go over some. We got to see some cards from the Reign of Jafar, and we're going to talk about those cards. And the first one we're going to talk about is, of course, Jafar himself. And this card is a 5-cost, uninkable 4/4 with 3 lore, a Dreamborn Villain King Sorcerer, the High Sultan of Lorcana. It's a dual ink amethyst steel with the ability Dark Power, and the ability reads, whenever this character quests, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. If an illusion character card is discarded this way, you may play that character for free.
I love this card.
Powerful.
I love this card a lot.
Yeah. This
is such a good card. It's reasonably priced for what it is. It should be an uninkable. Where the Giant Cobra is already a meta purple steel card. So you already have at least one target you would have played anyway, right?
Right.
The idea of like discard to play is so powerful. So powerful. Imagine questing with Jafar for 3, drawing a card, discarding a Cobra onto the field, getting your 2 lore, and then shifting Jafar on top of him, with a whole new world or something. You know what I mean? Like shifting Jafar on top of him just to protect him with the evasive or whatever. They're like, this is such a cool card. And I think it's good enough that you start putting more illusions in the deck for him.
And so I'm assuming we're going to get a bunch. I mean, we have 2 more that we're going to show off at least here.
Right.
We've
got Raja, who's already good.
Right.
Not as good as Smee, but Smee's about to rotate out, probably, maybe.
Iago, that's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, the Iago's good, and we're seeing that get played a lot more. So yeah, and so illusions aren't meta enough for people to carry counters to them. You know what I mean? Like you don't save space in your deck for an illusion counter, but you will have to.
Yeah.
If this card is as good as it looks, which is awesome. I love when we see stuff bend the meta around it. That's a cool thing.
And as I've heard said, if a card says the word free on it, it's probably a good card.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So we also have the Magic Carpet Phantom Rug. It's a steel, 3-cost inkable 2/4 with 2 lore. And it's got the Vanish ability because it's an illusion, and also Spectral Force. Your other illusion characters gain Challenger +1. As if these overstated illusions needed more power.
No kidding, right? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just a good card if you're going to be playing an illusion deck.
Maybe, yeah. I wish it was evasive, but that's such an easy critique to make of anything. Yeah, I like this one. I want to see big illusions, though, right? I want to see something bigger than Iago,
right? Which these are this is a common, so of course it's not going to be too powerful. You would think,
yeah.
But the 2 lore is really nice,
right?
And then we have the Palace Guard Spectral Sentry. This is a 1-cost amethyst with 1/4 stats and 1 lore, and of course the Vanish because it's an illusion. And it's just a. I mean, technically you can call this vanilla, even though it has the Vanish ability because it doesn't have any other abilities on it. But I really like the flavor text. All of the power of the normal guards with none of the insolence.
Purple's got a lot of good. Amethyst has a lot of good 1-drops, right?
Yeah.
It's got a lot of 1-drops that draw cards. So that is a competitive slot for sure. This will get played, though. This will absolutely get played.
It's 1/4. The previous we had was the 1/3 statted characters. Now, obviously, the Vanish makes it's gonna go away to just 1 storm or any other action that can hit it.
But storm my 1-drop, please. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is for sure going to get played. I'm calling it. I'm calling my shot.
All right. So we also have returning franchises, and that includes Vanellope von Schweetz, Spooky Speedster, or Spunky Speedster, 2-cost Inkable 3/1 in Ruby with Evasive and 1 lore. And so this is something that, if you've been paying attention, this has been happening already instead of reprints where we're getting exactly the same stats in exactly the same ink colors, just on a different card. This is Pegasus from.
Well, yes, but it's also a racer.
But it's got the racer. That's where we're getting the
Yeah.
differences, is the tags.
And a
So
princess.
they
Yeah.
know that, we're getting similar characters, but now this is a racer card that can go in the racer deck if you're building a racer deck and help fill that out.
Yeah, Pegasus is an ally, which seems like it's going to matter more and more. But typically this hero princess racer is going to be better. There's going to be more options, and also it's got laser snakes. Look at it. It's got laser snakes back there.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool card.
Very cool. We then have Jasmine, Steady Strategist. 4-cost Inkable 2/5 with 1 lore. She's a Floodborn hero princess with the ability of Shift 2, which is Shift 2 is always good to hear. Always Planning is the ability. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an ally character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So obviously, this is a Duel Link Sapphire Steel. Obviously, they're building towards the identity of Sapphire Steel Duel to be ally coded. There's a lot of ally stuff in these 2 colors.
Yeah, I think. I mean, shifting this on turn 2, you expect she's going to get to quest twice, probably, at least. So maybe she's worth 2 card draw, and in that case, I kind of like it. But we'll see. We have not seen the 1-drop Jasmine, right? If there is one,
I think there's a Sapphire one in an early set 3 or 4.
Really?
Yeah, it's a heal one. It's like a 1/2 that heals for 1
right.
played.
Yes, I do remember. It's like a 2/1 that heals something.
It's got low stats.
Yeah. We'll see. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and someone may be able to make an ally deck work if they give us a lot more support.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'll believe in a what do we call that? Like keyword,
typal or tribal.
Typal, yeah. I'll believe in a Typal Lorcana deck when I see it. I've gotten my hopes up too many times.
What they need for this one is we already have tons of allies. Unlike something like a racer deck or a broom deck, we don't have enough brooms or racers. In this case, we've got plenty of allies, but we don't have cards that make use of them to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have, I think this is our first legendary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have a 5-cost Inkable 2/5 Rapunzel High Climber in Emerald. She is a Dreamborn hero princess with Evasive, 2 lore, and the ability Wrapped Up. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen stuff like this.
Right. This is the first chapter John Silver, but without the on play. Or the good stats.
He gives reckless.
Reckless.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this one too. This definitely seems like a legendary. This card could definitely be a real problem.
Just stopping those mid game and late game quests, so you can have a chance to.
Yeah, it's a tempo shift, right? Yeah. Like, you're questing, I'm questing. Well, now I'm questing and you're not. So yeah, I definitely like this one. This one is definitely going to be on my radar.
And let's take a break from card reveals of new cards, and let's look at an existing one we've just seen, but in the enchanted form, and that is the Enchanted Jasmine. And of course, this card is gorgeous. It's amazing.
I can't wait to see what the sand looks like with whatever treatment they have. I imagine it's going to be kind of like sparkly, like that glitter in the sand kind of thing. I can't wait to see it. I hope all the enchanteds have the sand motif.
And the Raja there in the spectral Raja, it looks like, of some kind. Just a really, really good looking card.
Super cool. Yeah, really good looking.
So it looks like they were going to have, I mean, if this is what we're seeing from this set, it looks like we're going to have 3 sets in a row of really nice enchanteds. I mean, just gorgeous, colorful, eye-popping enchanteds.
Yeah. You didn't like Shimmering Skies enchanteds? Is that what you're saying?
No, so 2 sets. Is it 2 sets or 3 sets? No, we'll see. The Azurite Sea ones were a little bit of a miss.
I see what you're getting at.
Was really nice. Yeah. The cards look really good, but they just weren't as eye-popping and colorful as I'd like them to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
it took hearing the explanation that these were like each Illumineer sketches in their book, and that's how once I understood the idea behind them, I thought they were cooler.
Right.
But I'm with you. It wasn't my favorite set of enchanteds.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I still want them. I got the Tiana. I mean, it's a beautiful card, but
oh yeah. I have Gadget. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, I want Chip and Dale too.
All right, so back to reveals, and we're getting a new franchise in Reign of Jafar, and that is the Bambi franchise. Classic. Ooh. So the first one we're getting is Bambi, Prince of the Forest, a 2-drop inkable, 3/2, vanilla card with 1 lore. Standard stats for a card, basically. Nothing surprising here. As usual, gorgeous art. That never changes.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 3-cost inkable Flower, Shy Skunk, a 3/3 with 1 lore, and the ability Looking for Friends. Whenever you play another character, look at the top card of your deck, put it either on the top or the bottom of your deck.
Isn't this one of the Merlins? Isn't this Turtle?
Yes, it's basically like that, where whenever this enters or leaves, you can look at the top. So it's similar. It's just on play only. So, just like, the genie is an on play only, similar to the rabbit.
Yeah.
And then we have in Ruby, Thumper, a 2-cost inkable 0/3 with 1 lore, and the ability You Can Do It. Exert, and chosen character gets +3 attack this turn.
Classic Ruby shenanigans.
Right.
These are cute. These are the cute cards of the set. Okay, we always got to have some cute ones.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say about those.
Nothing overpowered. Nothing. Really weird. Just nice cards.
Yeah, they are very pretty.
And we have now this one is showing off what is going to be the seasonal promo. So this is what will be available at conventions that Ravensburger is at, similar to things like Gen Con, PAX, UK Games Expo, things like that. Spiel, any event that they're going to during this set, this is the card that they will be handing out as the promo at that event. This is Pluto, a 6-cost inkable, dual ink, amber steel. He's tried and true. He's a 2/7 Storyborn ally with 2 lore, the ability Happy Helper. While this character has no damage, he gets +2 attack and gains support. That's pretty cool.
This is our second Pluto that's like, if he has no damage, he's better.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't the Bodyguard Pluto the same?
Bodyguard is the same.
That's interesting. What about Pluto? I don't know. How does that line up?
It's just
I like it.
It's what they picked.
Yeah, that's Pluto's thing now. It's an interesting card, right? I'm trying to think, like, would I play a vanilla 6-cost 4/7 with 2 lore? Would that be good enough to play?
Right.
Or even one with support, right? A 6-cost 4/7 with 2 lore and support, would that be good enough? And this is a little bit worse than that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you're building a Mickey and Friends deck, well, like 100%, I'm throwing this in at least one up
Sure,
just to
yeah.
make sure I have all the cards in there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't know if this is going to be in any meta decks.
I hope that there's this Goofy that matches it. I hope that this makes a, diptych or something, like continuing the art.
And so we're going to continue the promo reveal. And in this case, we're going to be looking at and I think we're actually getting one more promo than we used to for the OP season. And in this case, we're getting 5, where normally we got 4. We're getting a pre-release promo, which is what you will get if you go to a pre-release event in the week leading up to regular release at a local game store. This is a 3-cost inkable action called Pull the Lever with Yzma and Kronk on it, of course. And it has the ability, choose one, draw 2 cards, or each opponent chooses and discards a card. And it is a dual ink Emerald Amethyst.
When I first saw this card, I thought it was both. I thought it was draw 2 and an opponent discards. And I was a lot more excited.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
You and I like to play decks that have absurd amount of draw power.
Yeah,
like as much draw power as we can get. So I could definitely see this one coming up. They keep printing discard. They're not going to stop printing discard, buddy.
Apparently not.
Yeah, that's still going. So yeah, I don't think this card is like scary, and I think it might be pretty good. So I like it.
Yeah. And I really like the art too, with them hanging out in who knows what shenanigans they're up to in Jafar's palace, right? So it's that big snake with the smoke coming out of the eyes there.
Some kind of poison for Jafar.
The poison.
Jafar's poison.
Yeah. The poison for Jafar.
Made for Jafar.
All right, we got also another the thing that they started with the Kronk last set, and that's the Buy a Box promo, and it is a dual ink Amber Ruby Minnie Mouse, a 4-cost inkable, the Daring Defender, a 0/8 stats with 1 lore. She's got Bodyguard, which that 8 willpower is really helpful for that, and the ability True Valor. This character gets +1 attack for each damage on her. So every time you take her out, she's going to just take out more and more of your stuff unless you can get rid of her all at once. Which the 0/8, of course, makes her susceptible to all of the strength-based removal immediately.
Yeah. I mean, the forecast on this is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's very easy to play around. You know, you hit her with your big thing, and then you hit her with your small thing, and you trade your small thing into her. But and the colors, right? It's just, this isn't an archetype that works very well, and this isn't the card that's going to make that archetype work very well. But I like the card. We've got the Amber and Ruby on here very clearly, and she's defending the animals. I do like the card. Yeah. I just, this when I look at this, I don't go, oh baby, Amber Ruby is back.
But for those who do play Amber Ruby, this is definitely getting put in there to test and see if it's going to work, especially getting flipped out on a Mufasa. A nice little body card to protect everything else.
This is definitely that's definitely a let's see what this one can do kind of card. Yeah.
All right. So the other 3 promos that we have are the ones that will be available for weekly play. What's that?
So many promos.
These are ones you're going to get from your game store, of course, for weekly play. And the first one we have is Lady, a 1-cost dual ink Amber Emerald 0/3 with 2 abilities and 1 lore. One of the abilities, Pack of Her Own. Whenever you play a character, this character gets +1 attack this turn. And take the lead. While this character has 3 attack or more, she gets +2 lore. This is like slotting right into the Chernadog deck. Like, this is crazy good.
Definitely. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I think we should at least acknowledge that we're getting dual ink cards still, right? Because that was not a foregone conclusion.
Right.
You know, when we got Sing together, we got it once and that was it.
Yeah.
So it is very cool to still see that we're getting more.
It's definitely a thing going forward.
I don't know. It could just be these two.
I think we'll see some in every set. It may not be like a lot, but I think we'll see some in every set.
I hope so. Because the idea is the Illuminators learned how to do this. And
right.
now that they can, we should still get more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. This card, definitely great for Trinidad. No doubt about it.
All right. The next one we have is a 6-cost Aladdin Vigilant Guard in Sapphire Steel. He's a 1/9 stats with 1 lore, and again, a bodyguard, and the ability Safe Passage. Whenever one of your ally characters quests, you may remove up to 2 damage from this character. Again, another card that you want to take out as fast as you can, because otherwise they will just keep healing it and healing it and healing it.
Yeah. We saw with Big Bodyguard Pluto, though, that the self-heal thing doesn't seem to make a big impact. This is a pretty expensive bodyguard. We tend to like low 2-3 cost bodyguards that you can add, you know.
But it isn't
this is my threat.
It isn't Sapphire.
They've
got plenty of ink to play it.
Yeah. I love his, I wish I knew what that was called, but I love his outfit. It's a very cool tunic. I don't know what it's
kind of looks like a superhero almost, right?
Yeah, it's very superhero-y, yeah.
All right. Looks like the art on that one was done by Marcel Berg, so he's been doing art since I think the first set.
That's awesome.
And then the final one we have for the promos is Patch Playful Pup, a 1-cost uninkable Amber Sapphire, 0/2 stats with a 1 lore and the Ward ability. And of course, Patch is a puppy. And the ability Puppy Barking. While you have another puppy character in play, this character gets +1 lore. Very simple, 1 cost.
Puppies.
If you're playing a puppy deck, you're probably going to have other puppies in play.
Yeah, puppies. Can we go back to Aladdin for 1 second?
Yeah,
this big explosion of light that he's looking into. That could be something, right?
That's probably
there could be something going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see in the background, I wonder if there's Jasmine.
Yeah, and probably Abu.
Probably
right?
Abu, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to connect to the quest, the Illuminators quest.
Maybe.
Whatever this, some kind of portal, or I'm not sure what this big bright light is, but I'm curious.
It is interesting because it's not, I mean, it is, what is that, purple and blue colors coming out?
Yeah. I'm getting kind of like a prismatic vibe from it, you know, because there's like a yellow streak, a red streak, a blue streak.
Okay, yeah, I see those too.
It's either like that pure white light or like a prismatic effect that's like all colors.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because we always get some story in the cards. So we'll see what kind of story we get.
That one definitely looks like there's something going on.
All right. So next up, we have the reveal of what we will be getting at Set Champs for the Reign of Jafar. And it is as we can see right now, a completely playable card. It's the Jafar High Sultan of Lorcana. And it's going to be the alternate art, the participation version, and the full art enchanted top 8 version. Again, another gorgeous card.
This feels important. This feels like the kind of set champ card we need, you know? From Mirabelle all the way to Hero, this set, it's been like, it's not, unless you love playing set champs, which I do, a lot of people do, you might as well save your $25 and 8 hours and buy the thing for $30 online, you know? And that's not good. That's not, the prize card should not be worth less than your time. This feels like a worthwhile set champ prize. The card, the art is incredible. The character is iconic for this set. We're back to like that Ursula, even though that Ursula wasn't the most playable. You and I played it at 2 DLCs,
Yeah.
I think. I do like that card a lot, but I think this one, I have a lot of hope.
So here's something
resting on this
interesting,
card.
actually. This, I think, will be the very first set chance card where someone will win it playing it.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Somebody could have won with the Ursula. I'm sure somebody did, right? Win the Ursula with the Ursula. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We didn't have as many tools as we did in the later sets, though, with that card.
Right. Yeah. I don't think that card was being played in set 4, but in 5 and 6, it was for sure.
But if someone did win an Ursula with an Ursula, more power to you at the time, because I think this one is going to be a little bit easier to do. At least based on what it looks like now without seeing the rest of the cards and what the meta shapes up to be. Amethyst Steel has been a powerful deck for multiple sets now. So I don't see that really changing.
Man, it's so cool. I'm surprised they didn't make him the legendary, because that Ursula was a legendary in that set. And this is just a super rare. Man, it's really cool.
Well, but I love the sand. Have been almost consistently more powerful than legendaries.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about this. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Okay, so that was.
Oh my gosh, we're almost done.
Jeez, so much. Imagine getting all this stuff together and obviously, would we have preferred? Now, this is again something maybe on not quite as good side, but the long silence we had up until this.
Yeah.
Obviously, we would have preferred there not to be a long silence, but getting all of this stuff all at once, seeing that they were working on things and planning things and getting information and seeing the new people and knowing that there's now staff to handle what is coming for this game. It's all very, very heartening to see and really nice to see that things are looking up from the long silence.
Yep, for sure.
And also coming from the long silence, we have the first news of set 10 coming in quarter 4 this year. And the set, we got the name, Whispers in the Well. We got our first piece of key art, which includes what looks to be a version of Detective Mickey, possibly.
Yeah.
We've got, what is it, Venturo in the back there? But his eyes are a little glowy.
And he's got red eyes.
What's up with that? And we have is that a new Ariel? That is a new Ariel.
She looks like Ariel on legs to me.
She does.
But it is a little
also
different.
She's got all that little wisp of gold all around her, and that's because there are a new kind of glimmer coming in Whispers in the Well called ethereal glimmers.
Yes.
And that's going to be interesting to see what that is.
Ethereal glimmers, which sounds a bit like Vanish. But yeah.
So what
are all these pages?
Yeah. What we're getting
all
though
these pages
is
flying around.
The initial pieces of whatever storyline we're going to get for this year's sets to lead up to the finale next summer with whatever quest we're going to get.
Yeah.
So, and then if you have sharp eyes, you've already seen it. But of course, there is a little clue about another franchise that is being added in Whispers in the Well. And that is in the background. We have a gargoyle from Disney's Gargoyles, the afternoon animated show. And I know there are a lot of fans of this show. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are very happy that this is getting added.
Yeah. And also that they went with Broadway and not Goliath. That's definitely Broadway back there, I think. I'm pretty confident it is.
I know the names, but I don't remember what they all look like. I remember the toys that were out when I had a comic shop back in the 90s. I remember most everything about it, just the names, but not specific looks. So I'll believe you that this is Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway's big head and his long ears. Yeah. So that's super cool.
All right. So that is it for sets and reveals. But, of course, there was one more surprise at the very end. and that is coming in 2026. The X account that is asking every day, is Darkwing Duck in Lorcana, can finally have an answer, and that is Darkwing Duck is coming in 2026.
Yeah. When there's trouble, you call DW.
So
we got Gizmo Duck, so it was only a matter of time, right? Very exciting. We know more, or at least we did at D23. We know more about the next few sets too, right? Because we know about Pocahontas. That's this year, right?
That is this year.
And then we also know about Black Cauldron.
Yep, that's this year too.
Yeah, which might even be in Jafar's set for all we know. And then in 2026, we know that that's when Pixar is coming.
And so yeah, Pixar so we're getting coming when set rotation happens, I think, personally.
Okay.
They haven't announced it yet, but
interesting.
That's my prediction, is that after Worlds next year, if it happens at the same time, and of course it will be in the middle of set 12 meta, and set 13 will come out in fall, and I think set 13 is when we're getting Pixar.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the reason
I can definitely see that.
The main reason I think so is because that's also when D23 is happening that year. It's when Gen Con is happening. So I think,
my gosh, you're right. Yeah.
So they want to make a big splash, and a big splash is going to happen at D23.
You're right. It all lines up.
Yep.
I'm sold.
Well, that's it. So overall, your feelings on the next chapter stream that happened? What do you think?
Overwhelmingly positive. Long overdue, but all good things. As somebody who's extremely invested financially in this game, the rotation does hurt my heart a little. I'm not going to be thrilled to see all the prices drop to nothing for me, but for the people that are still collecting, don't have those cards yet, that's awesome, you know. Mm-hmm. And for people that want to start collecting them, that's awesome. I just have a little twinge of pain about the rotation, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, what does Lorcana look like without Bounce Package? You know, what does it look like without Steel's songs, without Strength and Storm? Like this rotation we only get to keep 100-ish out of the first 800 cards.
Right.
You know, so
12,
like this game's going to change a lot.
12 to 15% of the cards we're going to keep.
And it's not going to be all the super rares either, right? No. There's only so many slots for super rares. And so, you know, so it's going to be a battle to see what gets kept, and there's going to be some broken hearts. There's going to be some excitement. The rotation is cool. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that little Worlds situation.
Yeah.
Yep. If it wasn't for that little thing with Worlds, this would be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but I'm very happy that we have all of this news. I'm very happy with the instant communication when the dates were revealed unofficially. They immediately came out and gave us information about the no attendees so that people didn't spend money on trips. So there were, like you said, a lot of positives with one glaring negative, unfortunate thing.
And we met new faces, you know, like we have more personalities behind the game, people that are committing to keeping that line of communication open. And I'm excited to get to know them and see what kind of impact they have on the game. So I think it's largely all good things.
Yeah. And I'm very happy that Greg Tito has said repeatedly, both in the stream and in text on Discord and such, that this communication that happened about the Worlds thing is just the beginning of what they plan to do, that he wants it to be a conversation with fans, not them just occasionally putting out posts about things.
Yeah.
But they want a lot of give and take. They want to communicate more. They want to be involved in the community. And I think all of those things, if and when they pull it off, is absolutely 100% great for the game. Because, of course, everybody likes to be heard. And
yeah,
I mean, you have to think about it. We're getting Powerline, we're getting Darkwing. What have we been asking for over a year?
Yeah.
Powerline and
No, you're
Darkwing,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fairly obvious that they're listening. They may not be able to tell us they're listening, but they have been. So I think we're just going to get more examples of that when they're able to talk back to us more often.
Yeah, we have a lot of examples of that. Even just getting a nice cardboard box and a board for the next Illumineers quest. That's clearly a response to people's criticisms of the last one, right?
Right.
Like I definitely have that feeling that they are listening, but it just needs to be communicated better.
Right. Which I think that's what's going to happen now with someone in charge of just that.
Yes.
Which is really
I agree.
cool to see.
Totally
okay.
agree.
Well, that wraps it up for us. This is, as I mentioned, my inaugural video posted to my channel with it's just me. And of course, I invited Eric along. And next one, I'll probably invite Jared back when he has some time. But these will be random. But go ahead and check me out on all socials at Dan Regal, but here on YouTube and on Twitch at the Dan Regal. And I will be streaming at least once a week over on Twitch if you want to come check it out. Some gameplay, some deck building, some chatting, whatever it may be. Maybe even some puzzling, because I like doing puzzles, and there are some Lorcana puzzles coming later this year. So
awesome.
Some puzzling is going to happen on stream.
That's fun.
Yep. Eric, where can everybody find you online?
I did so much stuff this week for this stream. I have so many pieces. I have more thoughts to share about the rotation and about worlds, and I have a love letter to Powerline, and all that stuff's going up, today and tomorrow. And I hope that you go check it out on the Gamer.
That's the Gamer, everyone. Thegamer.com.
We need your support. Thegamer.com. No spaces.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.